Hey, what's happening, guys? The actor who will play the new Spider-Man is surely important, but what's more important than the new threat which our Spidey is going to face off in his very first solo film in 2017? Let's go through top 5 villains for the upcoming Spider-Man reboot. Just to make it clear, this is a list of bad guys for Spidey to face off in his solo film. We are not discussing the really big bad guys whom Spidey will face off among with his Avengers friends in MCU roles, such as Thanos. Number 1, of course, is Shocker, world's best safecracker and a successful burglar. Shocker definitely deserves an appearance in one of the future Spidey solo films. The thing with Shocker, also known as Herman Schultz, is that he's one of the few Spidey villains who doesn't really hate Spidey. He doesn't have a personal vendetta against the Walkroller. He does fight Spidey, but most of the time their encounters happen when Spidey interrupted his robberies and other evil schemes. Being a B-list villain at the best, Shocker has never really been a real threat to Spidey, but he can still give him a run for his money with his, let's be honest here, pretty powerful self-built gauntlets, which can do a lot of damage. A device he actually built himself while being in prison, and eventually they helped him to escape the prison. One of my personal favorites, Shocker can make a great entry-level villain, let's say by appearing right at the beginning of the film and do what he does best, well, rob a bank. Number 2, Scorpion. While obviously being quite a deadly foe for Spidey, the reason Scorpion appears in this list isn't that simple. Matt Gergen, a private detective, was hired by J. Jonah Jameson to find out how the hell Parker is able to take these outstanding photos of Spidey. Failed at doing so, and being easily detected due to Spider-Man's Spidey sense, things became a little bit more serious. Jameson then decided to make a killing machine out of Gargan by making him participate in an experiment which fused his DNA with a Scorpion. And well, we all know how it went since then. There's no doubt we'll see Jameson's character and Daily Bugle in a brand new trilogy, especially now that Spidey has joined MCU. And what's a better way to introduce JJ than showing that the guy doesn't simply hate on Spidey, he wants him dead. Thus he creates Scorpion, who has only one purpose: kill Spider-Man. Scorpion's superpowers are quite equal to Spider-Man, some of them even exceed them, which makes him quite a formidable foe for a brand new reboot, among with Jameson, of course. I mean, just imagine that epic fight scene atop of some building with Scorpion smacking Spidey with his giant and powerful tail. How about that? Number 3, Kingpin. Wilson Fisk, a powerful crime lord and a brilliant master planner, would definitely make a great villain, not just for the very first solo film, but also through the whole potential trilogy. Fisk has an incredible power, he's big size, strong man, who's actually pretty good at martial arts. But that's not what he's best known for. Being a crime lord, he controls a decent amount of New York City gangs. He's a brilliant chess player and could make a serious threat for Spidey, especially if the second one interrupts one of his many killing and torturing scenes by appearing at the right time, at the right place. What's great about Fisk is that he shares a lot in common with Norman Osborn, and seeing how the whole Norman Osborn story went off in the Amazing Spider-Man franchise, I highly doubt we'll see him again anytime soon in a brand new reboot. That being said, Kingpin is just as good evil mastermind hiding behind curtains and setting his rogues and thugs to catch Spidey. Occasionally, he might face Spidey himself as well. Seeing how Marvel's Daredevil Netflix TV series already revealed our MCU Kingpin, who is played by Vincent D'Onofrio, I wouldn't be surprised if Spidey will say a very first hello to Kingpin by making his guest appearance in one of the episodes. Number 4, Mysterio. My personal favorite, Mysterio is a must for a brand new reboot. Quentin Beck and his magic tricks, oh gosh, so many possibilities. A promising stuntman and a wizard guy working in the film industry realized that he really got bored and instead could use his knowledge to do crime. Well, of course, it won't be that simple if the guy appears in a movie. Let's say Spidey sees a robbery, swings by, knocks the bad guy, stops the car with a burglar in it, only to find out that this whole scene is actually a part of a movie which is being filmed right now. And let's say the guy who drove the car was a stuntman named Quentin Beck, and he got injured. And let's say he gets fired, and boom, he now truly hates the Walkroller. Of course, for a movie you can make it even more complicated and interesting, but there's one thing you can't argue about. Mysterio, if done right, can be a serious foe to face. With his illusions and tricks, Beck used to fake the death of Spidey's loved ones, such as Aunt May. Yep, he did it before. He would seriously mess up with Spidey mentally. He could easily trick Webhead Spidey's sense, making him doubt what's real and what's not, and placing Spidey in situations where the only way to beat Mysterio is to use another one of his powerful weapons, his brain, thus establishing already in the very first solo film that Spidey isn't just a superhero, he's also a genius. Besides, Mysterio just as Electro is a very cinematic villain and was created for the big screen in the first place. And number 5, Venom. Yep, you heard it right, I know what you might be thinking, but thought we've already seen one of his incarnations. Let's be honest here, he hasn't been done right. After his very first debut in The Amazing Spider-Man 300, Venom became one of Spidey's greatest enemies. Already pretty early on, we've seen what he's capable of. Besides his incredible rough physical power, he's also somewhat a type of villain which can mess up with Spidey on a completely different level, like by stalking Peter's girlfriend in her own apartment. With Spidey joining MCU, Venom can finally be done right, starting already with the origin of the Black Symbiote. With the defeat of Thanos and the following Phase 4 with the most likely a new setup of a new Avengers and Spidey being part of it, Marvel can easily throw a Secret Wars storyline where Spidey participates in a Battle World event. He goes to space, gets the symbiote, brings it to Earth, and this leads to the bigger story left to develop in another of Spidey's solo films. There's a reason Sony were so desperate to bring Venom spin-off on the big screen for years. I mean, take Eddie Brock's origin story, with his tough childhood, father who never appreciated him, his complicated school years. This alone makes Venom such a great developed villain. Plus, now that Spidey has joined MCU along with his Rogues Gallery, the story of Venom can span as far as the Planet of the Symbiotes, another great material for future MCU films, with new Avengers now dealing not only with Venom, but also with his offsprings, such as Carnage and Toxin. Anyway, this is my top 5 villains for the brand new Spider-Man reboot and a potential Spider-Man trilogy. Tell me what's your top 5, thanks for watching, and I'm out for now.